a little doctor's appointment. So welcome to Why I Left Religion with Coach Renz. And we are on Thursday Book Club Day. Thursday Book Club Day. And we are doing the Gospel of Thomas right now. Hopefully we will finish the Gospel of Thomas today. This is part 6. So it's taking us 6 days, 6 weeks. Man, time flies, time flies. Where do we end though? Let me give my obligatory 5 minutes for people to get on here. So I'll tell you about the channel. On this channel, we deconstruct religion, mainly Christianity, because that's the one I studied and grew up with. Studied multiple different religions throughout my life, the ancient religions, the major religions of this planet that we have today, and have found most of them, if not all of them, wanting, some more so than others. So we then go into our esoteric mindsets, and we are practitioners of finding our own path, finding the path that fits with you, that works with you. We're streaming right now on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. So when I'm looking around, that's what I'm looking around at. Ever since I was 9 years old, I started questioning the Bible, and from questioning the Bible, I started walking away and questioning other religions as well. Spent a lot of time overseas, in some of these places where these books supposedly have been inspired by God. And I came away with my own pathway. Completely left Christianity when I was about 27 years old. I'm 51 now. And in my day, because we didn't have the internet, it was a lot of libraries requesting data or information from college libraries, from the Library of Congress, going to different places like Egypt and Israel and Jordan and Italy and all these other different places, and learning, going to Africa, South America, you name it. Haven't done the British Buddhist monastery yet. I want to go and be in one for a while, but have visited many Buddhist and Hindu temples here in the States and in other countries, in Germany as well. So my learning is not traditional. I did not go to any seminary schools or any colleges to go and learn, but I have learned a lot from listening to different professors. I encourage everybody to go and research things for yourself. Do not just take my word for anything. Go and research everything for yourself. And even as we're going through the book of Thomas, you should go through it on your own and not just take my interpretations and thought processes on many of the verses here. So speaking of the Gospel of Thomas, Grand Rising Teresa, Melanated Phenomenon, Jeremy, Grand Rising, to those who have said it to me. So Gospel of Thomas. Gospel of Thomas is a book, Grand Rising Christina, that was found in the Nag Hammadi Library in Nag Hammadi, Egypt, back in the 1940s. It was initially, the way it was translated by different Catholic priests. They all had different parts of it, didn't know what it was actually translating. And then it got out of the Vatican, and many people have then been able to read it for themselves, discover it for themselves. And although it has some similarities to some of the things that are in the canonized Bible, some of the things are written out longer or written out slightly different. It is possible that it is the infamous Quellum, which was a book that was theorized to have been used to complete the other gospels, because the other gospels were incomplete. Mark was the most complete that they had, but even it itself was incomplete. As a matter of fact, everything that happens after the stone was rolled away is a complete addition to the Gospel of Mark. And it is through using this book, possibly, that the rest of the Gospels were complete, because they have fragments here and there, pieces and parts. This one is different. It only has sayings in it, and it was highly used and recognized by the Coptic Gnostic community in Egypt, as well as probably being very well read throughout the Levant. Its dating is anywhere from 70 to 100, anywhere from 70 to 150 CE. So they don't know when it was written. Could have been written back then with, around the same time as Mark. Could not have been. They don't know. So that's where we go. Grand Rising Lambert, Grand Rising Wade, how you doing? Before I even get started, I want to thank everybody for sharing the channel. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. And I appreciate all the sharing. Grand Rising, Vanessa. Finally, yes, thank you. Welcome to the family, Vanessa. They're like-minded people, like-minded brothers and sisters. Uh, but sharing is caring. So I thank you guys for sharing. You guys have done a tremendous job of sharing this month. Our vibration, our tribe has grown tremendously on all the channels this month. So I greatly appreciate all the sharing that you guys have done. And let's keep sharing. Let's keep it going. Keep it moving. Have I done the 5 minutes yet? Yes, we are. So we are past the 5 minute mark. And today we're going to hopefully finish out on all the sayings of the Gospel of Thomas. As you guys know, some of the sayings I like, some of them I don't like, some of them have deeper meanings, some of them don't mean much of shit, much of anything. And we try to break it down as far as it goes. I appreciate that, Wade. Wade said I say too much good stuff to not share the knowledge. Thank you, sir. Thank you. You are great, very well appreciated for those comments. And also, let me pre-thank everybody who donates to the channel, whether it's through gifts on TikTok, financial, the super heart things on YouTube, and stars on Facebook. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. So I believe we left off. Our next one is we're on 84 for the Gospel of Thomas. Hello, Debbie. Grand Rider. I got my. I can rock this hat in Texas with Debbie. I rock this hat everywhere I go. No matter the wood. Let's see. So on the Gospel of Thomas, and y'all know I'll interchange between saying Jesus or Yeshua, but it's the same person that we're talking about. So 84 of the Gospel of Thomas, it says, Yeshua said, when you see your likeness, you are happy. When you see your image that came into being before you, and that neither die nor becomes visible, how much will you have to bear? Interesting commentary, thought process on that one. Are you on TikTok? Yes, I am on TikTok. It's Coach Renz, Renz on TikTok. When you see your likeness, you're happy. Whether you're talking about yourself in a mirror or you see a child that, one of your children or your family members, you see your likeness, you're happy. But when you see the image that came into being before you, talking about who you are inside, your actual ka, your soul, your consciousness, that neither dies. That's one thing that separates it and makes you understand that this is talking about your consciousness, your soul, and nor becomes visible. How much will you have to bear? Getting into that level of consciousness, we can't fully imagine what coming into that level of consciousness is really like. Like when I was coming out of Christianity, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, at that time frame, I couldn't even imagine me being of the conscious state that I'm in now. That was unimaginable for me. I literally thought when I was that age that I would probably be a deacon or a pastor. Well, no, I couldn't even imagine myself being a pastor. I figured I'd be a deacon. I can make deacon level. Because at that age I thought I was still going to be Christian. Oh, I own a cigar lounge, so I'm smoking cigars. If that bothers you, exit stage left. But this is a Toscano cigar. It's the one that Clint Eastwood smokes. It is not the other thing. I know how it looks, but it's just something you can't imagine. So the weight of coming into an understanding of knowing the universe, of having higher universal knowledge, realizing what is and what is not, the lies and the truths, that in itself is too much to bear. But what's even more too much of a bear is when you come into that understanding and you're still here. And you're still here. Because the weight of still being here is what many of us go through or have been through when you had to lose family, lose friends, lose jobs, lose communities, when you've been separated from other people and have to bear that. And then there's the other part of the bearing. Thank you. I appreciate that, Vanessa. There's the other bearing. The burden of you are now responsible for the enlightenment of others. Not in the same way that Christians go out and say you got to go preach the word to everybody and convert them. But now how you raise your children, how you function around the other people that you're around, how you live what morality you then take on. Grand Rising, Louisiana. Where about in Louisiana? You know, those kinds of things is something that you have to carry. Thank you for the stars, Margaret. I want to say Marguerite. I don't know. I always say it wrong. I try to say people's name right. Just started reading the 12 Laws of the Universe. A book that I definitely want us to do is the 48 Laws of Power. I love that book. Alexandria. I don't know where that's at. Stone Mountain, Georgia. I like New Orleans for a visit. That's why I was asking. And you know, I don't like Saints fans though. Saints fans. But you do have a level of responsibility. It may not be to the same level as the person next to you, may not be to the level of what I'm doing. It may not be to anybody's level but your own, because success of anything is based on you. But there is something that you will have to bear when you come into this level of consciousness, this walking away from whatever religious background that you grew up in. It although it is a joy and a happiness to see your true self, your true conscious self, it also has a weight. It has a weight that you have to carry. So just be mindful of that. But you only have to carry as much as you desire. No one can determine it for you. No one can determine it for you. All right. So because we're going to get through all of these, and I want us to have some free time to just talk about anything, let's keep it moving. I'm going to try not to be as long-winded as I normally am. Yeshua said, Adam came from a great power and great wealth, but he was not worthy of you. For had he been worthy, he would not have tasted death. Why do I feel like we read this one last week? But I don't care. We're just going to continue. But I feel like we read this one. It seems like we read this one last week, but it's possible this book it does have repetitive sayings sometimes, or sayings that sound similar and might have slight variations. But even still, Adam came from a great power and great wealth, meaning, you know, first creation man, all this sort of thing in the Garden of Eden. But of course, we know that this Adam story is a Sumerian story when you read the Atrahasis, because you come to the knowledge that before the Israelite Hebrew people came up with this version of it, that Enki, Neharshag, Anu, Enlil all got together and created Adapa. And that Adapa and TT were placed in Eden, which means enclosure. And Adapa or Adam, when you look at the word Adam, what it translates into the Sumerian, it means animals. So animals in the enclosure of Eden. And they were there to be slaves to the gods, but came from great wealth, the highest form of man that the Sumerians created. I mean, that the Anunnaki created according to the Sumerian story. But in this understanding, they are looking at Adam as a person, right? You want to meet Enoch? Yeah, that'd be interesting. So don't believe it. I don't believe Enoch exists or any of them existed. But we are taking the esoteric understanding knowledge from them on this. But he said, even though he was not worthy of you. You know, that speaks to me on the level of the homage that we pay to these people. Like, we should not worship anything. We should not worship anything, period. Nothing should be worshiped. We don't have to worship anything. If a deity requires worship, then that deity is not the creator, because it has a need. They all cannot. When we went through the book, the Kabbalion, the all cannot have a need. If the all has a need, then that need is greater than the all. So therefore, nothing is worthy of us, right? For had he been worthy, he would not have tasted death. If he was worthy of any type of worship, then he's eternal, and eternal in such a way that it's like a creator over us. Adam is not a creator. Adam doesn't deserve worship. I remember when I was about 15, 16 years old, I was in Coach Street Missionary Baptist Church. And the pastor there said, do you think that the apostles were greater than you, better than you, more devout than you, should be given more honor than you? And of course, all the people was like, yes, yes, yes. And he was like, why? There was nothing special about them. They were no more special than anybody else who's sitting in here. And I saw a lot of twisted faces, and I remember, but that impacted me very, very much when he said that. Obviously, because I still talk about it. But none of these previous people are more important than who you are. It is you and you alone. Until you come out and, like the previous verse said, be able to see your true self. When you see your true self, you recognize that nobody's greater than you, nor are you greater than anybody else, right? Nor are you greater than anyone else. I appreciate the gift there, Larry. I ain't gonna do the little NPC thing, but I appreciate the gift of, what is that? A bear? There you go. But nobody's greater than you. Okay, so and you're no greater than anybody else, because we are all divine. We are all divine. We are all consciousness. We all have the ability to ascend to higher degrees of consciousness, morality. We have power within us that we don't even realize, right? And being able to live in that, walk in that, makes you greater, makes you great, makes you amazing. And we should recognize that and not give too much homage to any of these people, right? Symbolism of energy and atom. Yeah. Energy being trapped in the body, knowing will release you. It will. And I think we're going to come across a verse that's going to talk about that even more in a few minutes. 86, Yeshua said, foxes have their dens and birds have their nests, but human beings have no, we did do this last week, but humans have no place to lie down and rest. Basically, I remember this one last week because we talked about how we are beyond this earth. We are beyond this body, right? This is not it for us. We are eternal beings that continuously will move from plane to plane to the next plane to the next plane. If you open your consciousness up to do it, whether it's opening your chakras or, raising your kundalini, whatever methodology that works for you. Confetti. All right. Larry, don't try to get me doing all this. If I will be honest, if it wouldn't damage my reputation, I would do some of that NPC stuff just to have fun with it, just to mess with people, because it does look fun. It looks fun to me. I have that thing, like I hate when we get put in a box, but I'll be on some confetti party. Anyway, moving right along, because I know we went over. I think we got into the 90s. No, we finished at 89, so that's right. But I just didn't scroll it down. So I'm going to skip these ones that we already done and get to where we're supposed to be. 90. I just forgot to scroll it after we finished last week. Because I figured out page break. So 90 is where we were supposed to start. So you got a little revamp of a couple of other ones. But what Lambert talked about, releasing you from the body. There was one. 87 kind of speaks to that when it said, how miserable is the body that depends. Why is this moving? Oh my gosh, I done lost on my page. Hold on. Like 87 said, how miserable is the body that depends on a body, and how miserable is the soul that depends on these two. That your soul, depending on the body, is a miserable thing. All right, 90 is where we should have started. So, Stop, Lambert. Stop giving gifts. Stop it. Nah, I ain't gonna tell you to stop doing that, but I don't even know what hanging lights mean. Ooh, but some hanging lights over a patio, outdoor patio in the backyard. Got the grill, got the cigar, got some food on the queue, got a nice glass next to you. That's living, bro. That's high living. Hanging them lights. All right, so Yeshua said, "Come to me, for my yoke is comfortable and my lordship is gentle, and you will find rest for yourselves." Now, many Christians will take that and mean coming to Jesus, believing in Jesus. We do not. But if you took Jesus as a character to or a symbol, becoming high consciousness, becoming high moral, becoming having taken lordship over who you are and recognizing who you are, then you can find rest for yourself, right? Many people are the effects of other people's calls. They're caught up in the will of other people, and they are just living their life like drones. But when you come into a higher consciousness of what this Jesus character symbolizes, if you take him as a symbol, then there's a different understanding. Like when he says that, "Is it not written that ye are gods?" When he talks about he and the Father are one, meaning he come into one consciousness with this deity, with the all, and that everybody can come into this oneness, like we're all the sons and daughters of the all. If you look at it from that perspective, is the only way that this would make any sense to in an esoterical mindset, because Jesus is not to be worshipped. But in that you will find rest, coming into your own consciousness, coming into your own self, knowing who you are and being it. It is not just to know it, but it is to be it. And when you talk about, see, right now everybody is their I. You are the I of you. You the I of you. You the I of you. But it is the me that you are becoming. And when you understand it from that perspective, that me that you are becoming, and you become that, and that new me becomes your now current I, you will find rest. You will find peace. Even in the midst of all the hellish natures of people that are trapped in religions, trying to force it down your throat, you will find rest within yourself. 91. They said to him, and this one's a little bit longer. They said to him, "Tell us who you are so that we may believe in you." And that's a problem right there, so that people got to believe in somebody. He said to them, "You examine the face of heaven and earth, but you have not come to know the one who is in your presence, and you do not know how to examine the present moment." We're always looking for something else, always something else, always somebody, always something outside yourself, not recognizing Yeshua as a symbol of somebody you can image, something you can be that is within you. When you do that, and you're in the present moment, can't do nothing about your past other than learn from it. Can't even do the future because you ain't got there yet. But being in the presence, the present, being in the presence of your present growth, knowledge, understanding, consciousness, when you are all wrapped up into that, then you will be great. So stop looking so hard. It's okay to have goals. Have your goals. Do the work now to get you to your goals. Live your life. I will give the people credit. Live your life now like you already have it. Is how you do the work now so that you can get it. Right. But we're Brahmin. In the Hindu, you exactly. We are Brahmin. So, but you do the work now so that you will have it, as if you have it, and you will begin to manifest it. Your focus, your reticular cortex will focus on things that are of likeness that brings you to where you want to be. So, but you got to know you to do that. You have to become the causation to do that, raising your vibration in order for that to happen. Otherwise, you're going to be looking, "Oh, tell us who you are so we may believe in you. I need to know Bill Gates so I can believe in making a bunch of damn money. I I need to believe in Beyonce so I can dance and sing and be pretty. You know, from back in my day, I need to believe in Tyson Bedford so that I can be like Tyson Bedford. And even though he's like 6'4" and I'm 6 foot, that was in my very short modeling days. I look towards trying to be more like him instead of just being me. You see what I'm saying? And then seeking out what works for me. So it's always about it's really about you being you, but you got to know you. Most people are walking around not self-defined, but are defined by everybody who's been around you and has defined you. We the reason why we have walked away from Christianity, most of us. We've walked away from religions. That is a self-defining moment, but one of the traps is you can walk into another religion that defines you based on what somebody else said instead of you defining yourself. That's why I encourage, and what I teach and what I coach people on is them finding their own path, not the one that I lay out for you. I just give you tools or practices that can help you to develop your own path, because it's always a inner. You're always looking inward to see what resonates with you. It doesn't matter about everybody else. You know, if the purple spaghetti monster on Saturn is your dude, that's your dude. Or your lady, whichever one it is, you roll with it. 92. Yeshua says, seek and you will find. In the past, however, I did not tell you the things about which you asked me then. Now I'm willing to tell you, but you're not seeking them. Remember in the second saying says, seeking you will find. When you find, seeking you will find, and when you find, you will be disturbed. And after you are disturbed, you will marvel. And then after that, you will marvel, and then you will reign over all. Right? So what he's saying here is that you seek and you will find. Told you that. And in the past, though, he didn't tell him. It sounds, that part is like the hermetic axiom, the lips of wisdom are closed except to the ears of understanding. Just because you are seeking, you, and how I talked about you're responsible for your enlightenment. Just because someone's seeking doesn't necessarily mean they're ready for it. I know we have the old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, right? But not everything the student is teaching, they may not be ready for. You haven't demonstrated it. Like, I can't give you something that you haven't demonstrated that you have authority over what's needed in order to take that next step. But he's saying that now that he's willing to tell them, they're not seeking. So this one spins it a little bit. So that was my part for that. But as far as sticking with more with this, he said he did not tell you those things, but now that you are seeking, now that I'm willing to tell them, but you're not seeking them. In this one, it's like the people got comfortable with whatever level, Grand Rising Skybox, whatever level they had been getting, they got comfortable in a rut. It's kind of like a marriage, right? Unfortunately, most marriages, the guy dates the hell out the woman prisses and preens and dates the man. And then they get locked into a relationship 3, 4, 5 years later. He ain't dating her no more. He ain't staying in shape. He ain't smooth operator. And she ain't trying to stay fine. She ain't doing the things that she used to do. Their sex life is horrible because they got into a rut. They got comfortable. They stopped seeking each other. So he's saying that y'all ain't seeking, but I'm trying to give it to you now. You're worthy of it, but y'all not seeking. And what are, yeah. Well, according to this one, he was talking about your he wouldn't tell them, and he's speaking in the line of telling them the higher mysteries, and they were asking for those higher mysteries and they weren't ready. It's kind of like, I do get some people who will come to me and they'll ask me questions and they're seeking some higher mysteries, but I'm like, in order for you to truly understand this level of mystery, you need to understand this level down here. But since you ain't got there yet, so I'm not going to tell you this one. You need to get this one. So in this one, so what he's saying in 92, that you was asking me for this. but you are only prepared for this right here. Now I've given you this right here. I'm ready to give you this higher one, but you're not got comfortable here. So I need you to keep asking. Growth, knowledge, enlightenment is a continuous journey. There is no end to it. So there's a continuous seeking. So never stop. 93. Don't give what is sacred to dogs, for they might throw them upon the manure pile. Don't throw pearls to pigs, or they might ... The rest of that part is not, it was torn off or wasn't legible. But we've heard it before. Don't throw pearls to pigs, to swine. That one is in, I think that one is in Mark or Matthew, or it might be in both of them. There's a similar saying to that one, and which coincide with what I was talking about earlier. Everybody ain't ready for everything. Don't waste your time trying to illuminate people who aren't ready. There are some parables in the canonized Bible that I do like. I just realized my coffee is over there. Y'all know I'm gonna have to get up in a minute and get my coffee. But there are parables in the Bible that I do like. Every time Yeshua, when he went and cast the little demons out of the man, and he went into the pigs, and pigs ran into the water, to the ocean, stupid ass stories for them wanting to be in the pigs, and they ran off the cliff and all this kind of stuff. Dumb. But then the people was like, hey, man, we glad you helped that dude out, but we need you to leave. And he just rolled on. Just, all right, bye. For me, that's the only part of that I really get into. The fact that he said, I want to teach you. You don't want to hear it. I'm not going to force you. I'm going to go on about my business. When he said that, he goes into the prophet can never go home. Because, like, when I go back to Marietta, well, it's kind of different for me, because people have known I've been this way since I was little. But most people, well, even still, when I go back home to Marietta, people are still holding me as the same person I was 30 years ago. I'm not that person, right? I'm not that person. So it's like, you can't grow and then go home. So you can't worry about folks. That's chaos. It always changes. Never. No, it doesn't. It always changes. And if you agree with reincarnation, Joel said not everyone. Joel said it, no, not everyone's in the same reincarnation cycle, and you're not. Just because you're here now and two people pass away and they're not coming immediately back, it might be 1,000 years before you come back, 1,000 Earth years. Hold on, I need my coffee, y'all. Give me 1 second, and then we'll continue on with 94, which means that we got 20 more to do, because I think there's 114 of them. Gosh, to have my coffee. It'd be disrespectful not to have my coffee, since my sweetie made it for me. 94. Yeshua said, one who seeks will find, and for one who knocks, it will be open. Seeking you will find, knocking, the door shall be open. Earlier we talked about split a piece of wood, and I am there. We talked in number 2, it talks about seeking and finding. If you are continuously, what you focus on is what you're going to get. It's really as simple as that. So just keep seeking. Don't let people turn you. You keep going. 95. Yeshua said, if you have money, don't lend it at interest. Rather, give it to someone for whom you won't get it back. Me, my brother, and my sister. From my mom, me, my brother, and sister, because I have 2 other sisters from my dad. But we used to give each other, borrow money from each other. Sometimes we get paid back, sometimes it don't. Right? And it created a rift between us. So we had to get to a point where and now we never lent with interest, but we had to get to a point where we just gave it to each other, not expecting it back. If there was a time where something was asked and the person said, I need this back, then you knew not to take it unless you knew you could give it back. Great wisdom. I don't give money that I can't do without. most of the time. Now, as there are some times, last year this time, paying for my friend's cancer hospice. I didn't have it, but I paid it. That's different. That's different. It hurt real bad. Hurt my business real bad. But most of the time, if somebody comes to me and it's somebody that has a relationship with me and they need money, I give it if I can. If I can't, I just can't. And if I need it back, no. Now, sometimes with my kids, especially my girls, I would make them give it back sometimes, even when I don't need it back, just so. But those were for lessons of maturity, lessons of growth. Make sure they understood that sometimes you do have to. 96. The fathers and Yeshua said the fathers and hold on, let me. Jeremy said, whenever I lend to someone, I don't expect it back. If I get it back, good. But I wouldn't have gave it if I didn't have it. But yeah, you shouldn't. And that's how it should be. That is exactly how it should be. Hell, I need some money now. To be honest, I need a whole bunch of money right now. But I'm refusing to borrow it because I know it would be like December before they would get it back. But it's all right because ain't nothing stopping me from living my life. So it's all right. Skybox said, let him hold 20. Not right now, bro. Tell you, not right now. Catch me in December. I got you in December. But right now, no. In the cigar industry, this has been one of the worst summers that some of these, especially guys who've been in it for a long time, ever. So right now, no. That's why I'm looking at pivoting. But my landlord might be ask me about a deal we can make. So we'll see. But I'm already pivot. She came through the last minute possible deal, but I found out probably, hold on. Nope, she ain't sent me a text. I thought she had sent me the text in response. But we'll see. But if I had a skybox, I'd send it to you. But I ain't got it. So 96, Yeshua said, and this is repetitive. This is a similar saying that you will see in the canonized Bible. It is of good wisdom. And we've seen this one before. But the Father's imperial rule is like a woman who took a little leaven, hid it in the dough, and made it into a large loaf of bread. Anyone here with 2 ears had better listen. Even though this is a little bit different of an analogy that I really like, it's actually polar opposite. The dough, the loaf of bread, some people take this and thinking that, that little bit of leaven that he put in the dough made it into a large loaf of bread. So just a little bit of the kingdom makes it into the large kingdom. No, those are people who don't have ears. Put a little bit of leaven and made it in, but hid it. The key word there is hid it in the dough, meaning that the kingdom is hidden from you. People are consuming the bread, not realizing the parts of it that is kingdom. People are consuming these religions and not realizing that a lot of that is just freaking dough. And that the true part is a little bit that's in there. So like in Christianity, a little bit of truth is in the Bible. A little bit of truth is in the Quran. A little bit is in the Torah and the Pentateuch. A little bit in the Bhagavad Gitas and all those. And it's that little bit that you have to find. I remember my kids were taught, because I didn't come up with the lesson, I didn't teach the lesson, but I heard the lesson. They talk about, and the lesson goes, it's about rat poisoning. That 90% of rat poisoning is cookie. It's sweet. It tastes good. 10% is actually poison hidden in the middle. So when rats come and eat the rat poison, they on all, because rats can smell poison, but they start eating the cookie and they all on the cookie. And by the time they get to the poison and even realize and smell the poison, they so enamored and so caught up in eating the cookie and the sweetness that they consume the poison anyway. Right? And then they die. That little bit was either kill you or find greatness. The difference, though, you sift through all the dough to get to the leaven. So you sift through all the bullshit that's in a religion to get to the kingdom part. All that sacrificing, all that genocide and slavery and treating women like crap. You got to get past all of that. Like, I would really like to see somebody strip away all the bullshit of a Bible and just have things that are truly good and bountiful for people. I guarantee that book could go from this to like that. It'll be a one-day read, a one-day read. But think about that for yourself as well. The body being poverty is just a shell. Strip away all the other things. Strip away the conditionings of culture, of race, of gender, of politics, all that bullshit, and get to the real part. Get to the real part. Get to the part that actually makes you great. Get to the part that releases the ka from the poverty of body and not be dependent upon body. Don't be dependent upon reasoning. Don't be dependent upon emotions. Opening your chakras, you have to be able to manage your emotions, manage your thoughts, manage your aggressions, everything. Manage your sexuality. All these things have to be managed in order for you to open these things. So getting past all of that and finding that little part that makes it. All right. So, and he's got another one. 97 falls into this. Actually, next two falls into the same kind of category. So we ain't gonna spend a lot of time on it. So Yeshua said in 97, Yeshua said the Father's imperial rule is like a woman who is carrying a jar full of meal. While she was walking along a distant road, a handful, the handle of the jar broke and the meal spilled behind her along the road. She didn't know. She didn't know it. She hadn't noticed the problem. When she reached her house, she put the jar down and discovered it was empty. Time is the road. Yeshua, if he existed, let's just say he existed. But when this stuff was written, it was some good shit. But as the 2,000 years have passed, it's empty now. The longer it goes and the more people change doctrine this, doctrine that, insert their own cultural biases, it's empty. It's empty. Even as I jokingly said a couple of weeks ago that I could create a more moral religion than this deity. And I think Skybox is the main instigator of that one. 2,000 years ago, everything that I've written in purity now would be lost to those people. Possibly, more than likely lost. Because they would have added their own bullshit to it. All the dough, all the culture, all that stuff will be added. So that's why I go back. I realized in, what year was that? It's about 92, that I need to understand the ancient religions, strip away the bullshit from them too, in order to have something more pure. Which finally I got to the Kabbalion, the Hermetics, the Tao, the chakras, the Kundalinis, all those things. All right, 98, another similar one. Thank you. I appreciate the analogy being on point. The Father's rule, Yeshua said the Father's rule is like a person who wanted to kill someone powerful. While still at home, he drew his sword and thrust it into the wall to find out whether his hand would go through. His hand would go in. Then he killed the powerful one. Let me see. I think this goes. Yeah. No, it doesn't. It stops right there. So the father's imperial rule is like a person who wanted to kill someone powerful. While still at home, he drew his sword and thrust it into the wall to find out whether his hand would go in. Then he killed the powerful one. Right? Basically, take it as something that if you can't see it in your mind and practice it going through it, you can't do it. You have to see it in your mind. You have to demonstrate it, or you can't go do it. You can talk about it. Talk about it. I want to kill this person. I want to accomplish this. I want to do this. I want to do this. But until you train for it, practice for it, until it is manifested mentally and then physically, you can't go and do it. In 2,000 years, they light a cigar for Coach Renz. Yeah, they'll be worshiping cigars. They'll be in service. Now, ladies, everyone, it's time to light your stick and blow smoke. Well, one of the things I did like about studying Ifa is that there's a lot of cigar smoking in Ifa. Many of the Orishas like cigars in the practice of Ifa. So you can imagine I was enjoying some Ifa. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I'm oh my goodness, and because I had a skin treatment today on my face and it's shiny as hell right now. You got that glow. Everybody knows, and you got that glow. Anyway, uh, y'all know that Barry Gordy's Last Dragon, Bruce Leroy. Anyhow, moving right along. All right, but this one is like the law of mentalism. You got to see it in your mind and raise your vibration to be able to do it, and then you can do it. Otherwise, it's not going to get done. 99. And if you got something extra different to say on any of these, please do so. This is not just about me. The disciple said to him, "Your brother and your mother are standing outside." And I think this is messed up. He said to them, "Those who do what my father wants are my brothers and my mother. They are the ones who will enter the Father's kingdom." Okay, this ain't the messed up one. This is actually one that I understood. They said that you're ready to teach. When you're ready, the teacher will appear. True, because mentally you're looking for it, you're seeking that, and then when you're seeking something, your reticular cortex, your actions, everything vibrates you towards those people, and you start to vibe with them, and you'll find them. And it's easy as shit nowadays because y'all got the internet. Um, One of my best teachers I found was because I was in Israel and I met him, and then we were pen paling for a couple of years before emails came out. Power of the glow. Oh yeah, I know spell this when you're typing stuff, it can get thrown off, or you're using voice text, it can get thrown off. But I try to read through them. But um, this one kind of hit me hard when but it made sense to me. I remember because I told you guys the first time I was reading this when I was on ship um, with the Navy. I was in the Marine Corps and I was on ship with the Navy in what 92 is when I read this one. Read the Gospel of Thomas, and they're saying like your brother and your mother are standing outside. It wasn't that he was trying to say that they're not my mother and brother. I don't have the familiar emotions towards them, but it's the idea that family ain't blood. Blood, well, not let me rephrase. Blood don't make you family, right? Blood doesn't make Lambert or Jeremy or Skybox my brother. Those are the names I can see right now. It doesn't make I don't know. I think melanated phenomenon is a dude. It doesn't make melanated phenomenon my brother, but it doesn't make Teresa my. Blood doesn't make Teresa my sister or Debbie my sister. It is our shared value, our shared commitment towards each other. It is what we have decided to how we decide to live our life. Now he's saying that, and this one, those who do what my Father wants are my brothers and my mothers. They're the ones that will enter the Father's kingdom. If we're in alignment, then we become brothers and sisters, which is so hard for this planet to understand. You know, it's so hard to understand how we separate ourselves, but it'll be a much better place if we came into alignment with one another. Right? Even if we all just practice decent morality, but did it in different ways, we can still be brothers and sisters. But those standing on the outside, hey, I'm separating from you because of gender. I'm separating you because of politics. I'm separating from you because of melanation in your skin. I'm separating from you because of previous histories. I'm separating from you for any of these other reasons that we separate ourselves. Yeah, y'all ain't my brothers and sisters. But how much glorious and how easy. This book and many other ones talk about how the kingdom is in front of you and all around you, and the kingdom is at hand. It says all of that, but yet they continue to participate in the most negative things that they can find and continue to separate each other. 100. They showed Yeshua a gold coin and said to him, the Roman emperor's people demand taxes from us. He said to them, give the emperor what belongs to the emperor, give to God what belongs to God, and give me what is mine. Now, of course, the canonized version of that goes that give unto Caesar what is Caesar, and give unto God what is God. He throws in some added things which creates the separation here. Right? Do you see the separation? Give the emperor what belongs to the emperor, give to God what belongs to God, and give to me what is mine. You know, if in this story he truly believed that he and God were the same being, homoousios, he would have stopped. Of course, the other gospels stop. They don't say give to me what is mine, showing that he's not God, that this Trinity is bullshit. Right? So this is one of those reasons why this book was not canon and could never be canon. You know, now they might try to flip it. Oh, well, what he's saying, you know, he's the son of God, so give the son what belongs to the son, and because he's the Messiah and he died for your blood. They can try to spin it all day long. And I've seen Christian apologists actually spin this one already into that mindset. But yeah, we have to participate in how life is governed here. So we give to it, we do it. You know, you buy a house, you got to pay that mortgage. You finish paying the mortgage, you still got to pay taxes. So you never own the house here. That's why in other countries you can own the house. You own the land. You don't pay taxes on it, then you own it. But you follow the governance of wherever you're living. Give to the God what is God. The thing about it is, only if you are worshiping a God that requires a whole bunch of bullshit. Sacrifice a lamb, kill a goat, burn the entrails, put some blood on your ears, sprinkle some blood all over the place. You know, if you want to believe a God that does that, then go do it. But that is not the creator. That is not the all. The all doesn't require anything from you other than for you to go through your journey. That's it. It's not even the bullshit of that you were created in order for the all to experience what it's like to be a human, because that would mean the all could not have ever been the all, because then the all would have something that it doesn't know about. How can the omnipresent, omnipotent God not know what it's like to be human? Then that would mean there's something outside of it. And there can be nothing outside of the all. So that portion of it, give to God what belongs to God. The all doesn't have a sense of belonging to something. Like, I own this, like property. You know? But give to me what is mine. Give me my respect. Maybe. Treat me like the high conscious being that I am. Like, don't come to me speaking ignorance. Don't come to me being violent. I haven't done anything or given you any reason to do so. So why do you do it? Or why would you do it? I give you peace, give me peace. Whatever energy I put out, give it back to me. Whatever things I strive for, let me have it. don't take away from me. Just like I don't want to take away from you. You're on your journey, I'm on my journey. We're all on a journey. You live your journey without my scorn. If I disagree with portions of your journey, at the end of the day, like a young lady that I was giving a little impromptu coaching today, if I interfere with your journey, tell me to kick rocks, or let me know, hey, you're interfering in my journey. If I am of a good moral standpoint and consciousness, I'll apologize, back off, leave you alone. Figure out a way that we can still function together in unity. If we can't at all, we'll do it from a distance. And when you walk, don't give two shits about what I think or what anybody else thinks. It's your journey. All right, 101. Whoever does not, this is the one I thought I was about to read. But let's read it. 101. Whoever does not hate father and mother as I do, and father is in the quotation mark, so that word wasn't there, it was inserted. Whoever does not hate father and mother as I do cannot be my disciple. Disciple was inserted. Whoever does, inserted, not, whoever does, the word not was inserted. Whoever does not love father and mother, whoever does not love father and mother as I do cannot be my disciple. For my mother, blank, but my true mother gave me life. So we don't know what the for my mother something, but my true mother gave me life. Now, this is similar to what is in the canonized Bible and talks about, and bothered the shit out of me when I was younger. Because in the canonized Bible, it says something like, whoever does not hate their mother and father and leave the house and come with me, they will not see the kingdom of God. It says something similar to that. So this one, whoever does not hate father and mother as I do cannot be my disciple. Whoever does not love father and mother as I do cannot be my disciple. So if you don't, it's kind of going back and forth. You got to hate your father and mother as he does, but you got to love your father and mother as he does. For my mother, blank, but my true mother gave me life. The true mother is not the mother he's the corporal body mother, not Mary. The true father is not Joseph. He's saying that the true mother father is the higher consciousness energy of the divine masculine and the divine feminine, because those energies is what manifests the next energy. You can't manifest, nothing is created without masculine and feminine involved. So you got to have both. But your biological parentage, what he's saying, is not your mother and father, right? The mother is Sophia. It's referred to as Sophia, especially in the what is that version of Judaism? Kabbalah, right? Because it was through the Sophia, and I forgot the other word for the masculine, that manifested what became known as the demiurge in the Gnostic teachings. To give it all what is due, we must give each other the respect, autonomy we demand for ourselves. Exactly. What you would want for yourself is what you give for other people. And since we want respect, give respect. It's strong to use the word hate here. Hate father, mother. I somewhat understand what they're trying to say. But yeah, you have to be more focused on the higher energies than the body of the lower energy of your mother's body, your father's body, the sperm and the egg, all that stuff, and be more focused on what manifested your soul, the higher conscious energies. And when you think about it, that higher conscious energy doesn't require you to worship it. It requires you. The only thing it's saying, it doesn't require you anything. It's just saying, here it is. You can either use it or you lose it, one or the other. But you're going to keep on being around in this lower state until you can't get to the higher state if you don't use it. 102. Jesus said, Damn the Pharisees. Yeah, I know that was loud. But he said, uh, is this scrolling? Okay, scrolling. But he said, damn the Pharisees. They are like dogs. They're like a dog sleeping in the cattle manger. The dog neither eats nor lets the cattle eat. Oh, one of the ones that I like. Because we see this all the time. I know many a pastor who know that the Bible is filled with contradictions, is very um, cultural, has cultural biases to them. Know that there's no historicity to most of the shit in here, but they don't eat the esoteric understandings of it, and they don't feed the people. They don't let the people eat either. If you try to eat, they bark and they growl. You try to eat, they stop you. They call you all kind of names. They exercise you from the congregation. Some of these religion forces you to get divorced. I remember there was a guy, he wanted to date a girl. This was in high school. He wanted to date a girl. He was a J-Dub. He wanted to date a girl who was Baptist. Um, his family said that if you date her, you got to get out the house and you can't come to the assembly hall. You're done. You're out. They were willing to cast their son out for this religion. Do monkeys and apes have a higher conscious energy? Depending upon what you're comparing the monkey and the ape to. Like their level of reasoning, their level of the ability to reason and understand their surroundings in a higher form beyond just instinctive nature. If I was comparing it to a mosquito, sure, yeah. Sounds like envy. No, there was a guy, okay, and me and the young lady, we're cool now. We reconnected some, 8, 10 years ago. But when we were kids, we liked each other. We was in junior high. We liked each other. You know, I want her to be my little girlfriend. She wanted me to be her little boyfriend. Her father was a J Dub, and when he saw that his two daughters was liking all these boys who weren't J Dubs, he packed his family up and moved to the next county. These people can be serious about this thing, about not letting other people eat. You know, it's like in business. Some people were thinking like, oh man, you got other lounges and stuff opening up around you, other cigar bars opening around you. I was like, you know what? Everybody can eat. Everybody can eat. I ain't got to intentionally go hurt those people. I know people in the cigar industry who tells some of the bigger producers, if you sell to that guy, I'm not buying from you anymore. And because I buy $1,000, $2,000 a month from you, you sell from to them, I'm done. I'm not buying from you no more. Let people eat. Let people eat. If you learn something, let people eat. But many of these religions, they don't let people eat. And the ones who are holding the keys, they keep the people chained up to it. They keep them starved. Who was the gorilla that learned sign language and mourned Robin Williams' death? Coco or something? I'm not sure. I think wasn't Coco Michael Jackson's little monkey, his chimpanzee? It wasn't a monkey, his chimpanzee. But I'm not sure. But yeah, there was some gorilla that learned sign language. 103. Oh yeah, we're gonna finish this one today. We're gonna start another book next week. Yeshua said, "Congratulations to those who know where the rebels are going to attack. They can't. They can get going, collect their imperial resources, and be prepared before the rebels arrive." Oh, Bubbles was Michael Jackson. It might have been Coco then. I don't know. I am like, don't pay attention to celebrities so much because growing up in Atlanta, there's like a celebrities are a dime a dozen. So it's like they don't mean nothing. Hell, me and a guy were just talking about how once a month, and when I'm at the Kroger across the street, I run into Chile from TLC, and she gets treated like a regular person. And there are other people, celebrities who you see all the time. So I don't remember them people's names, but yeah, Coco, I guess I would say Coco then. But anyway, moving on. What did I just read? Congratulations to those who know where the rebels are going to attack. If you've ever studied the Art of War by Sun Tzu, which was written well before this is almost an exact saying that's in the Art of War, right? But I know we're supposed to be taking this to a more spiritual level. If you know what your weaknesses are, you know where your attacks are going to come from, then you can prepare your resources to be able to handle the attack when it comes. Like, you shore up all your financial issues, you protect yourself, that hedge of protection that the Bible talks about. But instead of you waiting for some deity to do it, you do it yourself. And here's the thing about it: know your enemy, know yourself. Exactly. Um, that is another thing from the Art of War. Here's the thing: who is the enemy? Most of the time, the enemy is you. You're your own enemy. The devil is the negative portion of your brain. It's you. It ain't something outside of you. Now, can you have enemies outside of you? Can you get attacked by other people? Some people believe they get attacked by spiritual demons. I am of the African proverb that says that if there is no enemy within, then no enemy without can harm you. So ain't no demons and witchcraft and all these kind of things that can attack me, because there is no enemy inside of me, because I know me and have decided to conquer the negative portions of my brain, the negative portions of me. Every now and then it tries to raise its head up, but I know how to go and lay the, as they would say back in the day when I watched wrestling, lay the smacker down on that candy. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's a constant. It's a constant. There are moments where where that weakness shows itself, but I know where those weaknesses are. I know where those weaknesses are. Right? It used to be that if I had a bad day in business, like, there would have been times where a business day I made $20. Hell, actually, I've had 0 days before in business. And when you have those 0 days, and then the next day is only like $20, it can you can start getting nervous, and did I make a mistake, and what did I do wrong, and what I need. Instead, I focus on, well, what happened to cause me to make the $500 day, the $1,000 day, $1,200 day, the $2,000 day. Let me reverse engineer it to the catalyst that caused that, and get back and focus on that. And I go and I do that. Oh, I did better when I made 6 videos a day. Oh shit! And I've been going on 2 weeks of only making 1 or 2 a day. Let me get back to making 6. Let me make 6. Oh, when I have my flag out there that says cigars, let me go put another flag out there. See how long it can stay before the county come and steal it. You know, let me do some more cigar videos. Let me do some more popcorn videos. Let me connect with this organization that I know that every time I connect with them, I see a 30% bump in, know the enemy, but more importantly, know how you defeat the enemy, and then you win. You DJ Khaled at that point, because your hands are going up and they stay there. But you got to know yourself in order to know the rebel. The rebels are you, is within you. There's no outside. Ain't no devil. The devil ain't trying to attack you. The devil ain't coming to kill you, destroy you, and lie to you. That's you. That's you lying to yourself. 104. And they said to Yeshua, "Come, let us pray today. Let us fast." Jesus said, "What sin have I committed? Or how have I been undone? Rather, when the groom leaves the bridal suite, then let the people fast and pray." I know those people who they pray for just for prayer's sake. every day I'm getting up and I gotta say prayers. Throughout my day, I'm saying prayers. I'm like, what you praying for? You giving a whole lot of time to praying. What you do? And that was saying, I ain't done that. I have no reason to pray or to fast because I ain't done nothing and nothing has made me undone. So what am I doing it for? Why am I participating in a ritual for ritual's sake? Like, I know people who sage their house almost every day. Why? For ritual's sake, you know? No. Now, it's one thing I use my Tibetan bowls. Like, I put a video out today where I did a 60-minute root chakra Tibetan bowl thing. I'll probably start doing that more often, just to be sharing of it. But I do that to energize certain parts of my chakra for, or my to get that frequency for myself. Sometimes I want to personify one chakra over the other, but why are you doing rituals every day and just for ritual's sake? Now he's talking about, now he get into his religious stuff when he's talking about something, but rather when the grooms leave the bride suite, let the people fast and pray. Yeah, when he leaves, when he dies, this is them going into the religion thing. Then they'll be all like, "Oh, where's Jesus?" But it kind of contradicts the idea that you are your own Jesus. So why do you need to be crying and wailing and fasting just because this joker left? When it's all within you. You the sons and daughters. I thought we were the sons and daughters. I thought we was all the same, brothers and sisters. So why do I ever need to do any of these things? Jeremy said, I do not have a better shit. I do not have a better outlook, energy positive, or better humanitarian. I do have a better outlook, energy, positivity, better humanitarian, even after every reading here on this page. It's a positive to my life, even if it seems a bleak morning. I usually can check back to that energy I had in the morning and don't seem to bleak. It don't seem too bleak after that. Check in with oneself. There you go. Always knowing how to defeat that enemy within. Over here. Okay. Let me change it. And number 105. And Jesus said, whoever knows the Father and the Mother will be called the child of a whore. Grand Rising, Michael. That's all of y'all. All of y'all who done deconstructed from religion. All of y'all who ain't following the Vedics, the Torah, the Quran, the Bible. All y'all are children of the hoe. But whoever knows the father and mother, meaning the masculine and feminine balance of energy that is beyond the body, beyond these religions, everybody's going to call you a whore because you are prostituting yourself to some other deity that ain't real. It ain't the one true God. It ain't the one true God. Yahoo. That word is not allowed to be used here in the lounge, but ain't nobody here and technically ain't open. So y'all hoes for not believing in Jesus and Allah and Yahweh, Jehovah. Y'all some hoes, straight hoes. Y'all the children of whores. My children are children of whorisms as well, since they don't believe in these deities either. Mm-mm-mm. Shameful. Shameful. All y'all running around looking like Tamar, standing on the side of the street, whoring up your son with your daddy-in-law. Y'all. All right, that's enough fun. 106. Yeshua said, when you make the two into one, you will become children of Adam. When you say to the mountain, move from here, it will be moved. Now, you're gonna see parts of this. Parts of this is kind of like scattered throughout your had to get here some way. Parts of this is in the Bible. Okay, this two into one can have multiple meanings. two into one. Your masculine and your feminine becoming balanced into one, or two people coming into oneness. It works both ways, right? In the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, it talks about the husband and the wife when they become one. They are more powerful than any other grouping. That also is speaking of the masculine and the feminine becoming one. But you've got to do that within yourself first. Then when you tell and talking about you becoming children of Adam, ain't nobody worried about Adam. When you say mountain move from here, it will be moved. Now I do like how in one of the gospel it says when you tell the mountain and you have no doubt, you come together and you have no doubt. Doubt is that negative portion of you, that negative part of your brain. When you have doubt, you trying to manifest something, guess what's not gonna happen? Whatever the hell you trying to manifest, not gonna happen. So when you look back at all the things that you wanted to manifest but it didn't happen, go back and check how often you had doubt about it. Go check. See how much doubt you had about it. And you have to be able to overcome that doubt. If you're doing business, sometimes you're going to have moments of doubt, but then you have to overcome that doubt. Like who said, whoop, whoop. Yeah, you got to overcome that doubt. But when things just failed, I guarantee if you was truly honest with yourself, you carried more doubt about it than you did positivity about it, that it's going to happen, right? Or you allowed other people who to doubt you, talk shit, doubt you. Nothing worse than having a business or trying to accomplish something, whether it's better health or make more money or travel or anything. The worst thing you can have is somebody in your household, somebody that you're in a romantic relationship in, not having your back and being the one that's casting doubt on it. That person will infiltrate your brain and wreck your shit. It will be wrecked. It will be. I had these two female friends of mine, and they used to go to the church and they're having a prayer for women to get husbands. And I used to tell them, y'all need to be careful who you pray with, because if you might be praying with a woman and they're in competition with you to get a husband, and both of y'all may have the same person in mind. Or, as I told you guys before, one young lady that I was married to, she lost a friend because that friend said that she was prettier than her and she should have gotten a husband before she did. So I was like, you should have never been praying with that woman. You should not even be friends with that woman. I remember going to New Orleans to help tear down houses after Katrina with this church that my two female friends went to. And one of my friends, she was, she's cute, she's fine. Well, she was then. She ain't fine no more. But she was cute and fine back then. She was my friend. She was the only person I knew in that group. All right. So of course, me and her talking. I come to find out later that there was like this other women on that bus going down there talking about something. Dang, she ain't even giving the other women a chance to get at him. And these other women were supposed to also be her prayer sisters. She used to meet with these women every week to go pray together. I'm like, you praying with people who hating on you. So whatever y'all praying for to try to manifest, it's not gonna happen. And people, and they would run. The reason why they would come and pray together because of if you come together in my name and tell the mountain to move, the mountain will move. No, but even for us who have deconstructed, if you are trying to manifest something and you got people on your team, but they're not really on your team, you don't need to. I would check if you want to come and meditate with me, man. Where are your true thoughts? If your true thoughts ain't on this being accomplished, move. No, we're not doing this. Not even in meditating, not even thinking, not even having general conversation. We're not doing it. It's a dude who comes in here. I was like, okay, come on, give me your negative part of it. The only time, and most of the time, the only time I ask him for his negative part of it, because I'm looking, if it's a business deal, he may see, because he's so damn negative about things, he may see a pathway for me not to win. That then I say, okay, I didn't see that pathway for me not to win. So now let me flank my forces so that I can block that pathway. I use his ass straight up for that, and I tell him that I use him for that. I said, that's what I tell him. You're good for me for that. I take your negativity and look at how I can block that negativity, block that way of losing. And he knows it. I won't use a person and the person not know what I'm using them for, what their value is to me. So yeah. So you know how they say, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Don't tell everybody your business, all that sort of thing, because they negative shit will mess up you. 107. Jesus said the Father's imperial rule is like a shepherd who had 100 sheep. One of them, the largest, went astray. He left the 99 and looked for the one until he found it. After he had toiled, he said to the sheep, I love you more than the 99. Right, convert the negative to a positive. It's kind of a messed up story, but it kind of goes. Remember, we weeks ago, one of these sayings says that there was a fisherman who cast out his net and pulled in a whole bunch of fish, but the wise fisherman picks out the largest one and throw the rest of them back. The same mindset here is that the largest, most healthiest, the sheep, I got to go get this one. The rest of y'all, throw y'all back. The bullshit and throw y'all back. I'm just going to take the good one. We watch a lot of horse racing, right? The reason why you want your horse to win one of the Triple Crowns because that's you're going to go do some studying. Don't nobody want to deal with the little weak little joker. You want the good, healthy, strong one because that's where the bounty is. So when you're searching for information, when you're learning about your growth, your consciousness, it is the good and the strong that you need. Get rid of the little bullshit. Focus on the strength. Focus on the one that's gonna make you grow. It's kind of like in here with my cigars. At one point, I had 275 different cigars in here. I evaluated over the course of time which ones sell faster than the others, and and then you get rid of the ones that don't sell well. And some of these cigars, some of the ones I got rid of, I love that damn cigar. It's great, but it's taking up shelf space, and the shelf space taking up shelf space, and it ain't making money. If I'm the only one buying it, it ain't worth it. I can just buy that for myself and just have it at home. So no, you focus on what's winning, not on what's losing. And yeah, you show favoritism. 108. Jesus said, whoever drank from my mouth will become like me. I myself shall become that person, and the hidden things will be revealed to him. Ooh, can't have that in the Bible because then you're going to become Jesus. That means you can become God. So that's kind of non-Trinitarian right now. But drink from my mouth meaning, of course, y'all know, talking about the words, what he's speaking, what he's saying, this knowledge, this wisdom. Whoever can pick up this wisdom, this knowledge, they'll become like him in how they are, who they are. Of course, that's anti-Trinitarian to the Bible, but well, not even to the Bible. The Bible's not even Trinitarian. That's that doctrine that creates Trinity. But then he's saying that he will become them, so you become the same, and no hidden things will be, and the hidden things will be revealed when you raise your consciousness. It's all about raising your consciousness through wisdom and action. That's why I do like the Gnostics. The Gnostics were like, it is through knowledge that you raise your consciousness, not through just your works. Well, and as you gain knowledge, you put it into practice. So in order to have wisdom, you have to put that knowledge into practice and gain results. But she is so loud. But that wisdom, gaining that wisdom increases your conscious state. And so by understanding if we took Jesus in this iteration of him as a character, and even as a person who just had high consciousness, then the more you increase and live on that wisdom and become it, live it, and embody it, you become that person becomes you. Y'all become one. And then you reach those higher planes of understanding. And then you walk around feeling like you're an alien on Earth because these humans be getting on my nerves. Another father's imperial rule. 109. The father's imperial rule is like a person who had a treasure in his field, but did not know it. And when he died, he left it to his sons. The son did not know about it either. He took over the field and sold it. The buyer went plowing, discovered the treasure, and began to lend money at interest to whomever he wished. Interesting one. People gave the Bible and handed it down and handed it down. Didn't even know where the parts of it that actually are to be used to raise your consciousness, but instead use it for evil. But because a whole bunch of it is evil, but they don't know it. You have it. It's right there. The kingdom is at hand. It's right there. You don't know it. You don't teach it. Since you don't know it, you can't teach it to your son. Your son sells it, but then somebody who digs in. Plowing is the act of digging. But then somebody digs into this book. That's what I did. That's what y'all did. We dug into this book and we saw the bullshit. We found little nuggets. We saw the bullshit, but we took the nuggets. We dug into the Bhagavad Gita. We dug into the Torah and we took the nuggets, And this one he says he begins to lend it with interest to whomever he wished. We don't, you don't lend knowledge, you give it, but it does have an interest. I cannot, y'all know, if you've been with me long enough, I am not one that believes that you should be giving everything away for free because this takes up your time. Any of you guys decide that you want to start, I think somebody on the podcast yesterday was, no, that wasn't on the podcast. Somebody sent me a message. They DM'd me a message and they were saying that they want to start a podcast. They want to start teaching and all this kind of stuff. And I, if they were to, no, that wasn't that person yesterday. That was the person today. I was telling them before I came here, hey, look, you should get paid for your time. You cannot just do all of this for free. There has to be a way to make money off of it. Otherwise, your ass will starve. You won't, if you want to do it full time. Now, there's some people, hey, this is just a part-time fun thing that I just do. That's fine, But if you are devoting your life to it, you need to get paid. Even when I was a Christian, and people used to complain about preachers getting paid. No, the preacher does need to get paid because they're spending all this time with these people. And the larger the church, the more money they should get paid because there's more that they got to do. Now, do these jokers take advantage of the situation? Hell to the yeah. Greed like a mug. But as far as everything else, yeah. People used to get mad because when I was doing the podcast with Kevin Wesley, back in the day, he used to ask for donations. Okay, Kevin is doing this 4 hours with me at night and then doing a whole bunch more throughout the day. And of course, he got ostracized from his community and they fired him and all this stuff. Hell yeah. Think the man supposed to just do all this and keep doing all this and giving all this time and what he's supposed to eat, where he's supposed to sleep. So, and in business, I can't stand that in business. People like, oh man, you should just teach me how to open up a cigar lounge or open up this business or that business. You should just teach me for free. You know how much money it cost me to build this shit and how much money it cost me to build everything else and how much money I've lost and all the lessons I gained from losing? That shit got value. You stupid. Oh, we black man. You still another black man. Black man need to learn how to pay. Sorry, got a moment there. Y'all just don't know how many times I faced that one down. I was like, are you serious? I got 30 years of entrepreneurship under my belt. And you just want me to just come in and do all this stuff to make you successful. And there's nothing in return. Please. Anyway, let me get off my soapbox. I sell crystals and charge too much sometimes because I know the healing property. There's no such thing as charging too much. If the customer will buy it at whatever price you set it, then you're not charging too much. Do you ship cigars? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. You can go to smokingphoenixcigars.com. Although I do need to update the inventory. I will tell you that. So wait till tomorrow or late tonight. Wait till late tonight because I am going to do an inventory today to make sure it's correct because I know it's not right. I know it's incorrect. So let me do an inventory. But I do ship. Where you at, Skybox? I know you told me before. No. You can sell a product for whatever the market will pay for it. If you're in an area where the market is only paying $20, then the market is only paying $20. But then if you go to a market and you can get 40 for the same thing, then you get 40 for the same thing. What was the old story? The father told his son, the son had a rock, and the father told the son to go to the marketplace. He told him to go to the street, then go to the marketplace, then go to the museum, then go to the geologist. And everybody had a different price for the same rock. It depends on the market. 110, Jesus said, the one who had found the world has become wealthy. The one who had found the world and has become wealthy should renounce the world. I don't like this one, to be honest. So you find the world, you become wealthy within the world. Now you should renounce the world. Now I can only understand that in the sense of the story of the camel through the eye of the needle. A camel can go through the eye of a needle very easily, but you have to take all your wealth and get off of the camel, all your belongings and get off of the camel in order for the camel to go through the eye of the needle, right? They're built so a camel can go through, but you can't be in love with your wealth. So if it's speaking in that regards of it, I get what it could be saying, but it's just such a short little thing. Um, you shouldn't treasure your wealth, worship your wealth. You shouldn't use it to violate other people and that sort of thing. So, and remember, this book also talks about how the world is a carcass. So, yeah, I get it in that sense, right? But some people can take this to mean that you shouldn't become wealthy. That's a bullshit. A bullshit. Yeah, we definitely ship to Memphis. I just make sure because some people be in like Canada and stuff. Ain't shipping to Canada. We ship to the continental United States. Um, but I will ship to APOAE, so because that's American shipping rates. Know your worth and what your talents are exactly. But there ain't nothing wrong with wealth, as long as you're not letting the wealth control you. You're good. 111. Yeshua said, "The heaven and the earth will roll up in your presence, and whoever is living from the living one will not see death." Does not Jesus say, "Those who have found themselves, of them the world is not worthy"? So that's something. Those who found themselves, the world is not worthy, is from another saying that was in here earlier. Um, but saying that the heavens and earth will roll up in your presence. All this shit will end in your presence, right? Whether it ends in somebody else's presence or not at the same time. Every time you die, when you die of this body, the world rolls up. I used to tell people that's your revelation, that's your Armageddon, that's um, your rapture or whatever, because you live your own apocalypse. So it'll roll up in your presence. But if you figured out all this stuff, if you figured out how to walk away from these religions, figured out how to walk away from these cultures, walk away from these low vibrational, as somebody said earlier, the low vibrational mindsets and states of being, then you understand that there's no such thing as death. It's just the death of this body just transmute into another form of energy, but your consciousness can't die because it can't be destroyed, right? No. And it's not going to come back as a blade of grass because it's too damn complex. You can't put the complexity of your consciousness in a worm. Because just like the all can never not know it's the all, you cannot never know that you are a complex conscious being. I ain't gonna say you're gonna know who you are because I don't remember any previous lives to the extent where I remember all and every aspect of it. You'll probably drive you crazy at this level of content living in the matter plane. Could you imagine if you had lived 10,000 lives and you remember every husband and wife? You remember every child lived, every child you remember every child that's lived and died. You remember, every friend you've lost, every friend you've had, every success, every pain, every situation of slavery, every situation of kingship, and everything in the middle, and you remember all of that, um, you lose your shit. You lose your shit. All the grandmothers, all the grandfathers that you had and lost. Y'all know how much I love my grandparents, the ones I had from this body. I couldn't go into a whole nother one and then I got another grandparent. I can remember them. But your complexity of your pureness of your complexity never dies. You know, and you wouldn't fit in some other animal, but then you would know that you would know. 112. Right. And as a reminder, those who are not, you're not worthy of this world when you figure that out. You know this world is not worthy of you. Yeshua said, damn the flesh that depends on the soul. Damn the soul that depends on the flesh. Because the soul and the flesh are not one and the same. They're not unified. They're not, that's a problem that some people have in these religions. It's like they are so connected to, they connect their soul and their flesh together so much so that they literally believe that when they die, they're going to be the same person up in heaven, that they're going to get a new body. And I remember being taught that that body's going to look the same. It's going to be me. And I'm going to see my grandparents, and I'm going to see my mama and my brother and my sister, those who believe. I'm going to see them and I'm going to know them because you have connected your soul so much to this body that you can't separate them. But in the Gnostic mindset is, I'll be damned. The soul and the body are not so interconnected that this is it. One, you've been plenty of bodies before, but it don't fit. This can't be the end all be all of you. Just this one time. This is your one time. We're one rodeo show that you got to go through this. But Christian people in general don't want to think that they've been here before, right? Which always amazes me when I see Christians saying that, oh, he got an old soul. He been here before. Like, y'all realize for a religion where y'all don't believe in reincarnation, you talking about reincarnation? I'm going to do that to a Christian one day. And they're going to say, oh, yeah, my son, old soul, he been here before. I'm like, oh, so you believe in reincarnation? Then that little one ain't been here before. Stop saying it. But, they're not the same. This is not your body. I was messing with a dude. I was like, so how would you feel if you came back and you was a white woman? I wouldn't come back as a damn white woman. I said, see right there? That's why you ain't enlightened yet. You so stuck on gender and race that you ain't ready. I remember this one young lady. She believed in reincarnation. She's like, I've always been a black woman. I've been a black woman every time. Every time I've always been a black woman. That's illogical. Do you know the odds? If you look at reincarnation and let's say you lived 10,000 lives, do you know what the odds would have to be that you came back every time as a black woman? You just caught up into being a black woman right now. So, you ain't ready yet. You ain't as high conscious as you think you are. Right. That's as far as they can go with consciousness. But they still stuck on the earth. They still stuck on this matter plane of existence and our culture that they're living in today and the histories that they know of. Shit. Lambert, you could have been King Leopold. I would never want you to have been King Leopold. That was an evil motherfucker. But hey, you never know. All right, 113. The disciple said to him, when will the Father's imperial rule come? He replied, it will not come by watching for it. It will not be said, look here or look there. Rather, the Father's imperial rule is spread out upon the earth and people don't see it. Because there is no coming. There is no coming. There is no We measure time on Earth based on the Earth's rotation and our movements around the sun. That's how we measure time. Outside of Earth, time is totally different. So this idea of kingdom, Father's imperial rule, kingdom existence is always now, always at hand, right? But people can't see it because they're either caught up in science or they're caught up in religion so much so that they can't see beyond it, right? So we are multidimensional. We're living multidimensional. We may not see it. We may not be able to see it right now, but we're living multidimensional, multispectral. We are living, all time is living at the same time. Consciousness, the consciousness of the creative mind is current at all times. The higher vibrations and the lower vibrations are current at all times. All the goddamn time. If you want to think about it multiversal, go watch that movie. Everything, everyone, was it everyone, everything, everybody, all the time, something like that. Make sure you find the English version though. Everywhere, everything, and everybody, every time. It's something like that. It's one of the best multiversal movies I've ever seen. And you know I'm a Marvel fan, but it's one of the best multiversal movies I've ever seen. And how they show it. But can't be stuck here. You can't be waiting for when the wormwood come, when the waters all turn to blood, and all these bullshit prophecies. Like, got to be in harmony with the cosmic symphony. What number was that? That was 113. What? And one of the more controversial ones, that is the last saying. Simon Peter said to them, "Make Mary leave us, for females do not deserve life." Jesus said, "Look, old punk." And he said, "Look, I will guide her to make her male, so that she too may become a living spirit resembling you males. For every female who makes herself male will enter the domain of heaven." Okay, first of all, if heaven is filled with a bunch of dudes, I don't want to fucking go. Tell you right now. As a current embodiment of just man, I don't want to go. And even if I was a woman, I still wouldn't want to go because you got to be turned into a male when you go. So it's still full of dudes. I like hanging out with the bros, go play some golf, go smoke some cigars, watch some games. But Yeshua was on that bullshit right here. A bullshit? A bullshit? He was on that bullshit with this one. This plays into that male patriarchal bullshit. Now, one of the things that you can understand historically, that if these stories were true, yes, it's another attack on the female. Peter always had a problem with Mary Magdalene. And damn near all the Gospels and all the writings, whether they are the canonized or the non-canonized ones, he always had a problem with women. He always had a problem with Mary Magdalene. Now, I'm pretty sure that's the Mary that he's talking about. Because Mary, as far as I'm concerned, in this story, is Jesus' wife. Because in the Gospel according to Mary Magdalene, he was kissing all over that chick. And there's another gospel where he was kissing on her too. This is what the Merovingians have based their legacy on, that they are the birth children of Mary Magdalene and Jesus. Old Da Vinci Code, all that bullshit. But this is a sign of the times of that time, of their day. I will make her like you males. Jesus was into transgender. Jesus was, oh man, I've never thought about that until right now. Until right now, I never thought about that. That back then he was talking about doing transgender. He was trying to make a trans man. He's like, I will guide her to make her male, so that she too may become a living spirit resembling you males. So women, y'all don't have a living spirit. If we take this literally, y'all don't have a living spirit. Y'all can't be a living spirit. And only by becoming a male can you enter into the domain of heaven. So only if you become a trans man can you go into the kingdom of heaven. Whether, and even if you're talking about it spiritually, you got to become a trans man spiritually to make it into the kingdom of heaven. It's like this book had a whole lot going for it, and then fucked it up at the end. You ever watch a movie and the movie is really good, really good, really good, and then the climactic ending sucks? That's what this book just did. Grand Rising, Donald. It was going well, and then it sucked at the end. There should be a law against these scam calls. Um, we can all write our Bibles today as we are witnessing the same evil. Oh yeah, I'm tempted to write my own Bible, the Book of Renz. It'd be more moral, have way more morality than the Bible, than the actual Bible. Any of these books. Uh, damn. I'm trying to think of a movie that I watched that I was like, it was good, good, good. And then the ending was just like, what? Oh, you know what? A movie that was like that. So last summer when we had movie night here at the Cigar Lounge, and we do it outside, for some reason these jokers, every movie that they voted for was one of the black exploitation movies. Now my grandfather wouldn't let me watch those movies growing up, so I hadn't seen most of them. So we watching Dolomite, and I'm watching the movie, and it's going, it's for what it is. It was good, and then the ending, I was like, "That's it. That's how it ends. This some bullshit." The ending sucked. If you watch the ending of Dolomite sucks. I was like, "This is stupid." That's how this book, Gospel Thomas, ends. It sucks because it falls back into that patriarchal bullshit, or make her like you males, and because then she can, and only as being made into a male can a woman enter the kingdom of God. That's some bull. I think you're confusing the imprint we leave upon the void that echoes into the future iterations. Our individuality is immutable, and as you mentioned, in the essence of our flesh is empty without our echo. Our echo is nothing without its anchor. If you're talking about when I was saying that you remembering everything now in this corporal state, nah, I hold on to that. But if you come back and return, you can't return back into this matter form and still maintain all of the memories of every life you've lived. But now, if you go to a higher plane, can you? Will your consciousness be high enough? There's a plane where your consciousness is developed enough that you can remember and it not drive you crazy because you don't emotionalize loss of love the same way, and you are more unified with, like, the how we talk about mind share in business. You have more of a mind share of consciousness with everybody else who has risen to that level, so you don't then have a problem remembering or knowing what that love of your grandmother was, because that love of every grandmother is all in one. So I don't know if that's what you're talking about. But that's what I gather from what you were saying there, Glenn. Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross. It's another movie I love. These are the Glengarry leads. These you do not get. But that's the Gospel of Thomas from beginning to end. Only took 6 weeks. Look at y'all. We're doing good. It took us about what, 15 weeks to do the Kabbalion. Uh, they like it. They don't. Wait a minute. What are your thoughts on the new virus? So, I ain't sure y'all ready for my thoughts on this new virus. Um, It was expected. This new virus was definitely expected. I told people that there was going to be a new one. I even warned people that this new virus is going to be, at some point, one of the viruses will attack people specifically who had the vaccine, who took the vaccines. I look at these viruses as a form of population control, trying to whittle down the population. It's a calling. It's a calling, trying to whittle the population down. But you can't call the herd all at once, and you can't do it in too much of a mass number. You have to do it slowly, in smaller numbers, right? Otherwise, you alarm the herd, and then the herd is going to come get your ass. So I think it's just part of that, and it's also part of the of economic movements, right? Basically, it's one and done per iteration, no reincarnation. I mean, that's your opinion of it. I disagree. I think you keep coming. I believe reincarnation is a real thing. You keep coming back here until you figure it out. But back to the virus. There's also an economic angle to this virus. Just like last time, and we got an election year coming up. If I can lock y'all down around October, November, December, put everybody on lockdown, then start issuing out checks to everybody. Get rid of a few people, but we issuing out checks to everybody. We're issuing out checks to businesses. Most people, like last time, took them checks and they spent. And the economy was great. So what you'll see is the virus comes out, the economy dips for about a month and a half, and then these checks come out, and then the economy explodes back up. Those people who are already rich and know how to take advantage of it are going to get richer. Those people who are not rich and they figured out how to take advantage of it because they missed out last time, they're going to do well. They're going to gain wealth as well. Like I made some good money during COVID. All y'all were locked. These people were locked down in their houses. Hey, order the popcorn, slide by, grab popcorn, go home. Can't go nowhere else. Can't go to none of these other places you can go. Can't go to any other restaurants. Ice cream shops wasn't doing that. I was like the only treats that these people could get in my area. People driving from multiple parts of the city just to come get it. Bring COVID back. You know? So I was fine with it. But it's also an economic thing that's relatable to the fact that there's an election, because a president going into election on a high on an economy that's going very well will get more votes, but also trying to call people. Hey bud, I mentioned to you about no new money since 2017, bro. They just started $1 bills now that people are talking. Really? I meant to go research that, but I had people in here all day yesterday and didn't get a chance to do nothing. He said, "Hey, bud." My Aunt May, she says that all the time. She calls everybody bud. Hey, bud. Do you not understand how vaccines work? You do realize that these so-called elitists were the first one in line to get the jab, right? Really? Did they? Did they? So let me give you an example of something. I remember them supposedly giving us malaria shots, and later found out that they just gave us saline. It was not malaria shots. So just because you see them getting a jab, don't mean that they getting what it is that they getting. And they did this to us they did this to me in the military, and I'm low level compared to some of those folks. And but then they took these shots, same shots, and we doing a humanitarian, and they giving shots that look similar to all these people. It wasn't nothing but a grand old experiment. we're gonna fake like we're giving it to the American military guys. But then when we go out here to this country that they call a third world nation, we're gonna give them some bullshit. We're gonna give them the real thing that we tell that we're giving them, but we're giving them something else, and then we're gonna sit back and let's see what happens. So just because you see these people getting something pressed into them, don't mean that it's the actual medicine. So I wouldn't fall for that okie doke. And then as far as vaccine, people go get the vaccine for a flu shot every year, but a new strand comes out and whoop people ass every year. Some of these things that they claim is COVID ain't COVID, it was a flu. Because all of a sudden nobody had the flu for 2 years. And I'm not one for big conspiracies all the time either. This is based on what I know and what I experienced by being in certain parts of the military where you get to see these things and deal with these things. Hell, the next year they were giving us, and see, they were giving us malaria shots, and they're like, oh, but it was clear. But then when we gave malaria shots to this other country we was in, it was yellow. So I was like, oh, why they malaria shots is a different color than our malaria shots? And they all came from the same company. And I know they all came from the same company because I was in the unit that received the shipments. Video games even gave more than one chance. Why would you create a whole video game world and only give people one chance to try it and they can never play it again? Reincarnation makes sense. Yeah, people are gonna have their difference of opinions of it, but I 100% agree with reincarnation. Yep, nihilism is more valuable than the 3D. It starts with the mind and ends with the mind. Yep, spirituality versus technology. And it does begin and end with the mind. Who gave you the saline shot? That sounds like someone was trying to cause you to catch malaria and die if they gave you saline. Well, we just called it saline. We don't know exactly what the fuck they gave us. But no, none of us caught malaria. None of us got sick. But what we do know is that they gave those people something different than what they gave us. That what was supposed to all be malaria shots, what they was giving those people was not malaria shots. They may have indeed given us malaria shots, but what they gave those people that we were supposedly helping was not malaria shots. But we was all just saying, man, they gave us some fucking saline. This is some bullshit. So excuse my usage of the terminology. I knew what we was talking about. Me and the other guys on ship. I knew what we was talking about. But honestly, if I look at it technically, I think we all thought they gave us the real malaria shot, but then gave the people in that country some other bullshit that wasn't a malaria shot. And the fact of the matter is, malaria did not go down in that country at all. As a matter of fact, it still rages like a champ in that country. So, and I understand the people say that the flu shot dropped drastically because people were wearing masks and keeping distance, same precautions to prevent COVID spread. I understand what you're saying, but did you notice that like it was still no flu? There's no way you're not gonna have flu drops. No, I just can't. I don't buy it because although people was wearing masks and masks help, but masks are not 100%. If I sneeze, it's getting through that. Some of them particles is gonna get through that mask, right? And people were still out and about. What's crazy is people like, it ain't crazy, but although people were staying home, if you went to Piedmont Park, there was a bunch of people in the park. You go to Centennial Park, people was all at the park. You go here to walk around Stone Mountain, there's people walking around Stone Mountain, going up and down the mountain. Like people thought, okay, I'm not going to work, but I'm gonna be out in the parks. It's open space, and they was like, that's cool. I can be out in the parks and stuff. And you still went to grocery stores. There was still people there, but I understand there was less people. I get what you're saying. But flu just dropped so drastically. And then I even had a doctor who told me, hey, we running everything. You can come. I had a better example. Forget what the doctor told me. I went to the VA right before they really, really did the lockdown and announced it. I had like a massive sinus infection. It was, so that was like February towards March time frame, which every so often that time frame gets me here in Georgia because them damn dogwoods come out and my sinuses can get flared up if I'm not paying attention and I'm not drinking, not eating and drinking the way I know I should during that time frame. Massive sinus infection. This damn doctor was trying his best to say I had COVID. I mean, it's COVID. I said, it's a sinus infection. It's COVID. I had to force him to do a head x-ray in order for him to see that it was my freaking sinuses. But he was trying his damnedest to get COVID. And I suspected why, but then I went and I researched why. Is because they got paid way more money for COVID than they got paid for flu or sinuses. So I'm quite positive. And then I did have a doctor who told me that exact same thing. I get more money for that. So everybody got COVID. He was like, people that he knows that came in for sinuses and other upper respiratory infection. Nah, them motherfuckers got COVID because there's more money in COVID. It's just like when people get cancer, right? There's more money, even though chemo has a 98% failure rate. There's more money in chemo than there is in any other form of treatment. So chemo it is. And it's a sad thing, but it's reality. But economic wise, election year coming and calling, yep, here comes. It ain't even called COVID. It's called BS. No, literally, it's BS 1-2 something, some kind of numbers after it. The BS part is on point. It's BS. If that's the same one we're talking about, that's the one that I heard about. And some people got mad at me when I told them that there will be one of these versions that will come out and it will attack people who took the shot. And don't think these jokers ain't scandalous enough to say that. Well, you know what? We in control, but I don't like that particular congressman, senator. We're gonna get him the real deal. These people they could easily be that vicious. But what is something else that somebody said? I thought I saw something that I missed the subject matter. I don't see it. Oh well. Whew. Our thoughts are power, indeed. Your thoughts go out as a frequency. It has energy within it. So that's why you have to be mindful of your thoughts, but also be mindful of the thoughts that you're receiving from other people, because there is power within it. Oh, we need to come up with a book for next Thursday now. I have okay, so we could do the 48 Laws of Power. We could do the Tao Te Ching. I don't know if any of you guys ever read the Tao, but I think it's a great read. It's not as long. It's 81 different lessons. What else? Y'all names? Oh, what is it? What is his book? Outwitting the Devil. Love that book. Love that book. Outwitting the Devil is a great book. So those are some of my thoughts. You guys tell me what you think. That's right. It's EG5 Eris and BA 2.86. Was that Parola? Oh, so it's BA. Okay, I thought it was BS. It's BA. So badass. Badass. That's what I had called it when I saw it. But yeah, so let's what books you guys want to use next on Thursdays? If you leave it up, don't leave it up. You leave it up to me. Ain't no telling which one you're gonna get. Ain't no telling which one you're gonna get if you leave it up to me. So I'm trying to let y'all have some input. But if you don't say nothing, then I'm gonna just decide and we'll just go from there. If you don't say nothing, I already know what I'm gonna choose. But so you guys let me know. And even if you're not watching this live, still let me know in afterwards. It is. Hold on for a second. Let me unlock the door. Nobody's coming, but let me unlock the door. We are past our 12 o'clock, so I got to be able to let these people in when they come. What else we talking about, people? What else are we talking about? So if we ain't talking about nothing, we'll call it a day. I know y'all don't want to just sit here and look at me. I mean, I know I look good and all with my shiny face right now, but I don't look that good. You're dealing in absolute. Don't forget, while there's is zero evidence of any lab leaks. Shit, that big lab leaks. The same crystal fascist fearmongers about a lab leak were the very same ones who defended World Health Organization in the years leading up to the 2020. The same ones that deliberately let it proliferate, and the very ones that believe in viral plagues is a sign of their end time. I wouldn't say that I'm dealing in absolutes. I'm telling you what I experienced and I told you what I experienced and what I've been told. When I experienced the doctor trying to force my sinus infection to be COVID, there was a doctor trying to force my sinus infection to be COVID. When I had other doctors tell me that they was running everybody as COVID because they were making more money, it was making more money. Saying that chemo is a 90% has a 98% failure rate is just true facts. It has a 98% failure rate. That is why when people are stage 4, they don't even give them chemo because they know it ain't gonna do shit. So that's not absolute. That's just reality. Now, when I talked about them possibly giving one of these higher elite people the real thing and it's gonna attack them, those are my theories. I expressed them as such. I didn't say that they definitely gave. I'm doing my thing right now. I'm not saying I know that they gave some of the congressmen, senators some fake juice or some real juice. It's possible. I know they gave us some different stuff than they gave some other people when I was in the military. And if they did it the one time with us, it's more than likely that it's been done before. So this is not absolute. Not absolute. And as far as the economy, them coming out with this and lockdown so the economy can fall and rise during an election cycle, it's something they've done before. They always try to, if you're the president up for election, you generally try to manipulate the economy during that election year in your favor. If you don't do that, if you don't apply that strategy, you're not smart as a governor because elections are won on emotions. So you're not playing the game. You're being stupid. So you best play the game in order to make that work. I mean, if I was like Biden's campaign manager, I'd be like, look, you need the economy to tank right around January. We used to, then you want to beef it back up so that by the time we get to the summer, people getting checks and gun companies are getting checks, and then we roll into that election, everybody's happy because they got some money in their pocket. That's how you run that thing. And we also got to find an enemy out there because most of the time, people don't like switching presidents during time frames of conflicts. So we got to have that enemy out there, get the people all good and scared, and they don't want to change leadership during something like that. So, we have some fear going on. Oh, YouTube tripping again, you can get a notification, and you got the bell icon clicked on, I'm assuming. So it should, sometimes my notifications come in my emails as well. So you might have it going to your emails for your notification. But yeah, running for politics Same way they've been doing it. And you can see a trend of it. You can see the trend of it. But as far as lab leaks, actually, I haven't heard about any lab leaks. That's actually new to me. As far as lab leaks, that's not something I've heard of. What they did giving foreigners something else very well could have been a genetic version. If that's the case, then they would have hindered and harmed many people who was on my ship because some of the people on my ship genetics match those people's genetics. Matter of fact, my ancestors' genetics match those genetics. Now, granted, you can say there can be some genetic adaptation since my ancestors have been in America for a very long time, and you can have some adaptation through that many generations. But there were a lot of first generation jokers who was on that ship, and we were going and went on to land for the same thing. So I don't think they would have risked those people as well by doing so. No. Uh, oh, and you said generic. My bad. I went straight into genetics, but you said generic version. Oh, my bad. What they did, giving foreigners something else, may very well have been a generic version. Hard to say. It is not hard to say when I look at when I'm the one I had to help the Navy guy to order the lot numbers. So no, no, we ordered it, and when we was ordering, they were specific as to um, those. Okay, so when you're ordering things like that, all right, can I put it? There are no generics. Put it that way. Um, the military supply structure doesn't work in a framework where you go to Walmart and you got great value bread, and then here's nature's own bread. It doesn't work that way. Um, there's just bread, and you just order the bread. So it doesn't function in a way that you can order a generic version of something. It's all the same thing. Now, I did notice that there was a different lot number that they ordered from. And you could try to make the case that, well, the different lot numbers could look differently. But the rest of the paperwork showed the process. They have to send the process. The processing of the product has to be was exactly the same for both of them. Um, but behind closed doors, later on when I got into other divisions of the military, I know how paperwork can be moved to make something look a certain way. I'm skating around certain terminology on purpose. While I'm listening to you, I'm reading an article on wokeism on the top of the page. It says, woke means willfully overlooking known evil. You know what irritates me, Christina? No, it's not Christina. Christian about woke. And I'm gonna get all up into my melanation on this one. Mentally, consciously, I am of a higher plane. I get it. But I also have to deal with everything that happens on the matter plane of existence. As a being, we can't elevate like the wholeness of the country can't elevate if one group is holding another group down. If we don't recognize that there is no separation between us, that we're all beings, right? But in order to do something, you got to let a group have their own shit. In order, if they're the oppressed, they got to have their own shit so they can grow out of it. You can't keep stealing somebody's stuff. To be woke was a term created by, and created for the oppressed black people in America. And it goes beyond Erica Badu and her song Stay Woke, but somewhat of the same meaning. And every time we do something to try to elevate the consciousness of Black people in this country, everybody else joins in and they dilute the shit out of it and invariably turns it and flips it on its head. Staying woke means that you woken up from the bullshit of the governmental, religious, economical tyranny of America towards Black people. And you're not being confused and being bewildered by it or being taken advantage of by it, or you waking up from the brainwash of it all. The land of the free. Black people thought that they were living in the land of the free, the land of opportunity. And to be woke means what you woke up from, realize that you're not living in the land of the free that's for you, that the Constitution, they didn't have you in mind, and at that time frame that it was written and talked about, you still wasn't in mind. And now it's been taken, to be woke means that you're accepting of this community and that community. You're accepting of the transgender, you're accepting of the LGBTQPIs and or whatever, and you're accepting of the how they're doing this in school and that in school and these all this bullshit. It ain't had nothing to do with anybody but us. But every time we have something that tries to benefit us as a community to grow, you would think America would want the Black community to grow and become better financially, better economically, well, financial economic second, but better politically, become better in our communities, which would decrease the crime in our community, better educated. You would think America would want that so that it makes the whole country better. You can't have gangrene in your foot and expect the body to function at peak condition. But if you keep allowing the foot to be diseased, to be weakened, and you keep weakening your own foot, the body doesn't function. See, right now, and America's had this mindset, it could do that. It could let the foot, and I ain't gonna use the foot, I'm gonna use it, yeah. It could use the left hand. The left hand can be weak because just the right hand of America will whooping the shit out of every other country on this planet. But other countries are catching up. They're catching up. For long, America, you need both hands. You need to be like the one. If you fight me, I start out fighting left-handed, but I can fight right-handed and left-handed. America needs to be ambidextrous. It needs to be able to, I can jab you with the left, then I can switch, jab you with the right, throw the left cross. You need to be able to switch, but America don't get it. And one of the ways they demonstrate that consistently is that whatever we do to try to uplift ourselves, they try to now they can't come into our neighborhoods and just tear it down. So whatever community organizational thing we have, let's bland the fuck out of it so that it loses all meaning. Let me get off my soapbox. But that. It's funny how you scroll on some of these apps, and I remember Black people start calling each other kings and queens because want to uplift each other. Then all of a sudden you see everybody else calling each other kings and queens. Oh, really? Come on, y'all just can't let us have nothing. Even the things that I don't like, we can't have. Like all these kids running around calling each other, calling their lady bruh, and everybody bruh. Now I see all these other kids, bruh. Everybody's bruh. Like can't have nothing. I understand what you're saying about generic and outsourced and all that, but all of these, it all came from the same company. It was one company. I know that's why I mentioned it to you. Why do evil people have to hijack things that have good intentions? You know, that's for some reason there's a one of the failings of human society is the necessity to oppress someone else. It's like people can't feel better about themselves unless they oppress somebody else. It's a sad state of being, but that's how human beings have been for the longest of time. No matter what culture we're talking about, every culture has had felt the need that they must oppress somebody else or they must take from somebody else. One day they may get it. I doubt it. This golden area. I understand people want, the age of Aquarius, we're all going to be, that just means more people are going to be of higher consciousness. But the world is not. These in the Kemetic science, they talk about how it goes from a golden age to a silver age to a copper to an iron and then back up the process back up from the iron to the copper to the silver back to a golden age. There's golden age, you have a lot more people who are of higher consciousness, but the majority, or it just overwhelms society where everything is peace, love, and happiness. There has not been any time frame in human society when that's happened. We'll get better to a certain point of better, then we'll just cave back down. But as far as a full golden age, nah. I like when they talk about like the golden age. I mean, you look at it in some of the things that we talk about, how we use it, how we misuse it. The golden age of television. I look at some of that stuff and like that shit. That's y'all have some stuff that sucked. Most of that stuff sucked. Nobody would even listen to a story like that nowadays. It sucked. We're either all ascended together, individuals united as one, or fall into the void divided as another. I'm not so sure we all have to do it together because I can ascend without anybody else. It would be great, but it's not a necessity. But if you mean like I was saying about, like as a society, yeah, it's going to take more people being on the higher consciousness, higher ascending side than um, in order for the society to move in that direction. But you're always going to have this percentage of people who are going to be resistant to that. You're always going to have that. They're in lack. That's why they need us. There's a reason existence is described as self-consuming Ouroboros, and why we need to rise above our nature. It is. It is. You know what? You're absolutely right. That's what humanity kind of reminds me of society. It is an Ouroboros. You know, consuming its own tail for in an infinite state. You know, it needs to be grabbed by the head and choke its tail out of itself. But and see, the problem is that 16% that is always going to be resistant. It You can't be in a golden state unless that 16% that is resistant is the lower levels of power. If the 16% that is in resistance are the ones who are holding power over certain industries, then you're going to you'll wind up into civil wars. And I think that's how the dissension happens. The decline happens after you reach a golden age. I think you get into a golden age where that 16% that are resistant are lower powered as far as in how the society works. But once that 16% that are dissenting gains more and more power, that's when the people starts falling. And then as the people fall, the society fall, and then we go back down to lower ages, lower consciousness. But yeah, all of that. But we are going to go ahead and finish today because the other thing is happening right now that's going to make me finish, and that's that I'm hungry. And I refuse to be those people who sit on podcasts and be eating food and all that stuff. And watch somebody eat. So tomorrow is Friday. I don't know if I'm going to be pivoting. like I said I was going to yesterday. So I kind of spoke too damn soon because my landlord tried to make a deal. Is working on trying to make a deal. So we're gonna see if we can make a deal. If we can make the deal, then great. If we can't make the deal, then no. But you guys will find out tomorrow. Because if I'm doing a live at my regular time, then we made a deal. If I'm not doing a live at my regular time, then we did make a deal. And I'll be doing the live later on in the afternoon tomorrow from my house. And it'd be so nice. I don't know. I'm mixed. I got mixed emotions because I see a great pathway no matter which pathway I go. It's a great pathway. So pros and cons on both sides and all that. But it's a pathway, and either one was going to work out great for me. So y'all have a great day, and I'll see y'all tomorrow at some point, at some time. So have a great day. Remember, always you got to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations, and I will see y'all then. I see you put Outwitting the Devil. Took you that long to decide what book you wanted to do, especially most of the white conservatives. Yeah, they don't want to let go. But we are moving on to tomorrow. Da, 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 da.